been made in Canadian basketball. One-hand jam all over the defense.
One-hand cockback.
Oh! Bringing the fans to their feet, putting a man in the rim. Ain't that awesome? Oh my Lord!
Welcome to the NPA on NPH.
Well, Central Tech, it's the historic look, that castle feel. It's a gauntlet. You walk past and you just, whoa, you look up, and the reputation that comes with it, it has that feel, it has that effect. Being in downtown Toronto, it is what it is. You're gonna get everything, right? So all the distractions are gonna happen, all the excitement's gonna be there, any little thing happens in school, it's newsworthy because you're a downtown school, right? So we have to get past all those distractions and focus in and dial in what we're supposed to do inside this gym. Do we play with a chip? We make it so.
We're a grit and grind team. We're underdogs. So we play even though we're up 20, we play like we're down 20.
We try to break the neck of the other teams. Once we have our foot on the gas, we try not to let go. If you're a hard worker, if you have nothing to lose, if you're gonna put it all on the line every night, then you could come play on Central Tech.
I'm praying that they take on my personality. I got to smile and I laugh and I joke outside of the game, but inside the game, I'm yelling, I'm screaming, and I'm fierce. And that's how we're developing right now.
Stop relying on what we did in the years past or the games past. It's now, yes?
And when we get to be that tenacious group, that loud group, that aggressive group, great things happen.
That style and structure is making Central Tech a destination basketball school for players like Matthew Daves, who joined the Blues for his senior season.
I knew the coaches and I knew how their style of training was, and I thought that I'd fit in here well. It just brings up a certain tone to how I'm doing everything. So every single rep is more important now. Being Filipino, it's a bit different. People look at me a different way when I'm playing. They're not going to see someone like me, like an Asian person, play the way that I play usually.
How do you play?
I'm in the air a long time, just to say that.
In Season 2 of the National Preparatory Association, Jeffers will look to his returning seniors to lead the team on and off the court, which also prepares them for the next level.
Me being the oldest, it puts a lot of responsibility on my back, because coach, he tells me to always watch out for the guys, make sure everyone's good. Because after I leave here, coaches on other schools, they look at the kind of person you are off the court before on the court. They want to know what you could do in school. They want to know what you could do in a group of people if you're going to be communicating. All my friends back home, they really think I've changed a lot, and they said it's for the better too.
Coach Jeffers is an amazing guy. Taught me a lot because he's been coaching me since young.
That's Central Tech, who you'll see in our next game, but right now we got the Notre Dame Hounds out of Wilcox, Saskatchewan, and taking on SJK. Luckily, I know this Hounds team pretty good, because those are some pretty small numbers up on the top of the necks of these jerseys. SJK are in the blue, yellow trim. A first-year squad out of Breslau, Ontario, coached by Ahmed Alasta, who brings a Detroit Pistons-esque bad boy mentality. Jason Tom here on the call alongside Tarek Sabet. It's been a while, Tarek, since I've had you beside me. Let's try to keep it clean, no texts.
I think it's just yesterday, man. We might have been on the call, but I wanted to say something about Coach Ahmad. Got the Detroit Pistons, blue collar, mean mug, but the best dressed so far.
Agreed.
From coaches.
Agreed. Although we have not yet seen head coach Kevin Jeffers as yet.
He can come with some heat. You never know.
He can bring it with some heat.
He plays in extremes.
Alex Novicic from downtown to open the scoring for SJK. They're up 3-2 early. Jashawn Henry. You're going to see a lot of elevation from that guy. 2 down low. SJK need to get it over midcourt. bailed out. Foul call. Two fiery coaches on the sidelines here. Deshaun Henry yesterday in Notre Dame's first game had 24 points and 10 boards. And that was in a 40-point blowout, so he barely played down the stretch. Well, Ade Folarin, Ade again, has really just been nearly averaging a triple-double this season. Had 14 points, 10 assists, and 5 boards. You're going to see more of the same from those two today, I am sure.
Yeah, you're looking at two teams. One side with Notre Dame on the upper echelon of the league, top 5 in the league, at least when as far as rankings are concerned, and they've definitely played up to that ranking. And then SJK, first year program in the league, and they have some talent, not as much depth though, kind of how Notre Dame was last year. So we'll see, you know, they're ranked in the lower half of the standings, but this is why we play the games. Guys can, they're coming in fresh, their first game of the week, whereas Notre Dame in their second.
That was Jimmy Omino in transition off the Branko Damjanovic dime. Damjanovic, our league leader in points per game right now, has put up a couple of 30-plus point games. And I know you were in attendance for one of those.
Yeah, I watched him against the London Basketball Academy, and he's not your typical guard as far as, you know, the makeup. He's a stocky guard. He's strong. He doesn't look the part of a scorer, but has definitely built that reputation. Averaged over 30 a game in the NPA, and this will be a great test for him against the Notre Dame Hounds to really use as a measuring stick.
Carter Kahinka just checked in for Cole Newkirk. Sholayak down low. Sean Henry had to beat the shot clock, missed everything. That's a violation. Turnover going back the other way.
Post-secondary programs in attendance include James Madison University, NCAA D1, Eastern Florida Junior College. They're loaded with Canadians. Ahmed Ali, Mr. 103 on that team. Jalen Warren, which was an NPA All-Canadian last year, so Eastern Florida back for more. And then we got York University. We also saw Concordia earlier. Post-secondary programs piling up to watch talent in the National Prep Association.
Kahinka calls his own shot, can't get it back. Omino pulls up, no good. Sholayak, who, you know, has lacked the consistency that we like to see, but yesterday had himself a game. A lot of that coming, I guess, and you could say garbage time, but showed us what we hope to see on a regular basis from Ayak: athleticism and range. And that's another guy who really surprised me yesterday was Avery Hutchinson in the starting lineup for the Notre Dame Hounds. Did a little bit of everything, and, you know, talking to Coach Huffman after the game, he's like, yeah, it's easy to see Deshaun Henry and Fofo do what they do, but you got to see the guy who sets the table, and that often is Avery.
In addition to that, he's been working defensively. He's had, you know, averaging over 5 steals a game, so he's always in the passing lanes, you know, picking up those steals and turning it into offense.
They get it right back.
Speaking of which, right on cue.
Sholayak finds Kahinka. Fading away on that.
You know, Kahinka's an interesting prospect. You know, he's a legit 6'9". We know he can shoot the ball, and that's a rarity with the size and ability to, and skill set to shoot it. We've been talking about him from last year as a guy we're looking forward to add to his offensive arsenal with his back to the basket. But nonetheless, he's a guy that some CIS prospects will pursue for sure.
Damjanovic pulling Kahinka out. Drops it off into the corner. Missing everything was DeAndre Fortes.
It's a good defensive possession for Kahinka. Was able to stretch out that length and affect that shot.
Both teams trying to get into their flow. Low-scoring affair here. Just creeping up on the midway point of the opening quarter of this third game of the second day. 24 games over 5 days. The battle in the capital. The National Preparatory Association brought to you by North Pole Hoops. Kahinka from downtown making it 9-5 for Notre Dame.
That's a game of energy, Jay. You saw yesterday how Notre Dame came out a little bit different than this. This seems to be picking up now, but as soon as the whistle was blown, as soon as the game started, they were ready to rock. And that's all it's about. You can pretty much end the game or end the game before it starts, as far as building momentum and going on to a 10-0, 20-0 run. Right now, both teams struggling a little bit.
Ahmed El-Asta just arrived in the nation's capital, already asking the officials to not call the police on him. I know he's a bit of a troublemaker, so he just wants to make sure that he stays on the right side of the law and the right side of the line, I guess, is what the official was asking him.
Coach El-Asta, a fixture in the Canadian basketball community. Previously to SJK, he was up in Windsor with Coach Pete Cusumano in Catholic Central. They built a powerhouse up there, won some offset championships. Had Michael Mulder, their prominent alumni that played just recently at Kentucky with Jamal Murray.
Now in the G League.
Yes, sir, in the G League, still pursuing that NBA dream.
4:54 to go. Deshaun Henry gets it down low. Effortless elevation. That is Deshaun Henry. Fumble on the catch. You could see it on the shot. Man, the way Henry runs the wings, he's always ready to sky and catch in transition. Omino back the other way.
That's definitely that's definitely his strong point. Running, from the left wing, right wing, finishing in transition, finishing above the rim.
Damjanovic, who's been pretty quiet today, tries to drop a dime at SJK, fresh out of the bus. Just don't have the feel so far, and their coach feels the same way. Timeout SJK. They fall behind early, down 7. Stay with us. We'll be back to Ottawa, Ontario.
Pangos will shoot another 3, his 3rd triple already.
I'm a retired teacher. I coached at a whole bunch of different levels throughout the player delivery system in Canada. Involved myself at the provincial level as head coach of Team Ontario from 1994 to 97. Coached at the university level, University of Guelph for 7 years, high school coach, and I'm now an author. And I'm an author of a book called Can't Miss, a story about Kevin Pangos. But the angle that I'm bringing about the book is that I'm a basketball coach who wrote a book. So the delivery of the book encapsulates everything that's Canada basketball is all about.
Pangos will shoot another 3, his 3rd triple already.
I'm a retired teacher. I coached at a whole bunch of different levels throughout the player delivery system in Canada. Involved myself at the provincial level as head coach of Team Ontario from 1994 to 97. Coached at the university level, University of Guelph for 7 years, high school coach, and I'm now an author. And I'm an author of a book called Can't Miss.
Welcome back to Notre Dame High School. Taking a look at Branko Damjanovic and SJK. Damjanovic, number 12, our league leader through just a couple of games in the NPA, put up a couple 30-plus point games. It's an easy way, and that's an easy block to Deshaun Henry. Back the other way, Shoal Ajax skying. Like, this is the Hounds that are so dangerous in this league. The speed and athleticism that they can play with.
One thing that's been a pleasure to see is the growth of these programs. You see how much progress they've made from year 1 to year 2. Last year, it was a grind, these sessions for Notre Dame, playing 4 games in 4 days and only having really 5 to 6 serviceable bodies. It takes a toll. I remember Deshaun Henry basically played every minute of every game, and it took a toll on his body, but This is a different team. Now they got the depth, they got the size, the length, the strength. Make a real statement in the NPA this season.
No good.
Here's Shalayak. The Fofo on the attack. Tough bucket right there.
Dave Falarin, Date again. A little flex on the floor. This guy's got arms for days and has really chiseled them as well. Out of that point guard position. That can be a special physical specimen to have.
I'm interested to see how they match up. I know the big game for them is going to be against Crestwood. Fofo's going to have the opportunity to go up against Jacoby Neath, who's a high major point guard, arguably the top point guard in the class. Already holds several NCAA offers. And that's always the great opportunity to really see where guys match up at the highest of levels.
Fofo calling for it. Instead, they get it to Ayak. Finally to Fofo. The extra pass is always better. Avery Hutchinson gets it right back. Back to Dave Falarin, a date again. I mean, this guy's the emotional leader for this squad. You can see it right from the warm-ups. He is screaming out loud to the guys to get him into it. And he's leading them right now while SJK just can't buy a bucket. Finally, on the putback, Milan Roknic. Fofo slowing it down. Sholayak seems more comfortable the further he is behind the three-point line.
It's a lot of arc on that jump shot.
Greg Wint checking in for the Notre Dame Hounds. Sean Henry just muscling his way through. Picks up a foul on the body.
Let's get the overload. Shot running myself. Pass or shot running? You run it. Luke, run it.
2:14 to go here in the opening quarter. 14-point lead for the Hounds out of Wilcox, Saskatchewan. Hutchison, that's deep. SJKs have not been able to get the offense going. Another turnover. Hutchison finding Jordan
Very
Henry.
nice.
Just didn't get it high enough off the backboard.
I liked Hutchison's change of speeds. He kind of recognized the opportunity in the open court, switched on the gears, and just looks to be a really high IQ point guard. I think that's his game can really complement Fofo's. Both play the point guard position, but you know he's got some things that Fofo doesn't, and obviously Fofo has those physical capabilities.
And it gives Coach Huffman a chance to play Fofo off the ball, right?
Absolutely.
Which we saw last year at Nationals. You know, both he and Jashawn Henry just ran out of gas, playing so many minutes at huge positions.
There he is getting those offensive boards, but unable to get it go. Back to SJK.
Under 2 to go now. Damjanovic. Break the press. Hard to catch a pass in your ankles. Wint, no good. Jordan Henry flexing on him, son.
Too big, too strong right there. Yesterday we saw him miss a dunk and then grab his own rebound just to gather, no dribbles, go up and rise for two-hand to finish it. He's one of the most, if not the most physically impressive prospect in the country.
What does he need next to that game?
I think there's no question he's got to add a jump shot. He's got to add a reliable jump shot, and once he does that, you know, then I would consider him a bona fide high major talent. right now I look at him as a NCAA mid-major plus, you know, in that range, because he's going to be able to utilize those gifts at that level.
You know what I love to see about Fofo being able to play the 2 guard? It's going to allow him to crash the glass that much more as well, like we just saw there. Meanwhile, SJK in transition, Fordice with 2, trying to cut into this lead under a minute to go here in the opening quarter. The Hounds whipping that rock around the arc, and Sholayak, you know, just an athletic freak out there, easy left-handed putback.
That's good to see his activity level up right now for Ayak. And that's what he could provide the Hounds: rebounding, offensive rebounding, getting in the lanes. This is a big year for him, it being his last as well.
And numbers going the other way, beating everyone down the floor. Usually 2, Alex Novicic. Got a 1 second difference, game clock, shot clock. The Hounds aren't going to hold on to it. They're going to do
great ball
what they need to do. There we go. Damjanovic the other way, fouled. 8.8 left.
9 white. We can use the hands. 2 shots.
.8 on the clock. Roknic at the line. I think I may have called him Damjanovic. My mistake. First time calling SJK.
I was gonna correct you.
So I'm glad you didn't.
I was a little bit hesitant.
This is game 3 of 5.
Just a little bit hesitant.
Stay on my good side,
exactly.
Tarek.
I didn't think you'd appreciate it.
Henry misses the buzzer beater, 26-12. Notre Dame after the first. Stay with us. We'll be back to the battle in the Capitol.
Yet again, a 10-point advantage restored for Team Blue. Oh! It's Judy Charges throwing it down!
Welcome to the NPH live broadcasting experience. Allow our team of video technicians to capture your event in high definition. Streaming directly on all NPH media platforms. Up-to-the-minute live game coverage featuring professional commentators and analysts.
Tip in! No good! 2 seconds to go! Oh!
Commercial spots available to promote and market your brand, event, or product. Enjoy the ultimate way to catch the game when you can't.
That man from Quebec can fly!
Exposure starts here. NPH events. There's an opportunity to get involved at the ground level. NPH hosts elite level high school tournaments to national club team championships throughout the course of the season. Now is your chance to get involved with the fastest growing sport in Canada with the industry leaders and influencers. Get in the game today and join NPH in growing basketball in this country. NPH Scouting Service. The NPH Scouting Service is another platform for exposure with a network of over 300 coaches and scouts from some of the most recognizable brands and programs. Our scouts are constantly evaluating talent to ensure accuracy and credibility. Rep by rep. You push yourself. Effort is only half the battle.
26 points for Notre Dame through the first quarter. They're really slacking today because I know they had 32 through the first 10 minutes yesterday, so an off day for these Hounds. All joking aside though, this team practices so much, plays against, you know, college players here or there. They are so excited to get into NPA competition outside of just the Western Conference. Being able to get here to a session like this team is hungry.
Well, I think the same is to be said for all the teams. They've just been preparing, playing exhibition games, tournaments here and there. You know, they know every game is going into the standings here at these sessions, and you know, when it's all said and done this week, we will have learned a ton. You know, we're so far, just for the viewers that just tuning in, you know, we're looking at a Halifax prep team that lost both games considerably, but we got the first offer of the week. Eastern Florida Junior College offers Jaron Johnson, so a bright spot for Halifax prep, and I think at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. These kids getting scholarship opportunities, getting their education paid for, while getting an opportunity to play post-secondary basketball.
I'm talking to the guys from Halifax prep before the game, this is like what they said. I mean, this season is not about wins and losses. It's about improving these players. It's about having a chance to be showcased for college coaches and to make these players into better men, so when they do get to that next level, they have the skills needed beyond just basketball.
No question. And SJK, they're a team that they're gonna find themselves throughout the season. You know, they do have some guys that can compete, but some other guys off the bench are gonna need to step up to keep these guys competitive.
Avery Hutchinson gathering down low. Sean Henry.
Wow.
See, and that's what I love about seeing Avery Hutchinson being able to play the point guard spot for this team, because, you know, Fofo would get after it on the glass last year, but he's a point guard. It's difficult. Now this year, that's why you see him nearly averaging a triple-double through both NPA and non-NPA competition, because he can be there to get those second chance opportunities. And there's Sholayak in transition again. Hutchinson dropping a dime.
Yeah, Fofo's got a knack for the ball, especially the offensive glass. He uses his length and he gets after it with his motor. He's always been a guy that's averaging, if not double digits, close to double digits in rebounds.
Back the other way, Branko Damjanovic just has not been able to get the rolls today.
He's been off today. And when he's averaging 30 a game, that's basically half the team's production. They're going to need a bunch of that.
Omino, Damjanovic, but here comes Sholayak, never giving up on the play. Branko really needed that one to go. He needed to get the lid off that rim on that end of the floor. And purely on style points, SJK loved the jerseys. Fofo was pure. That barely hit the floor. Right through. Ooh.
I like what I just saw there. Milan Roknic attacking the rim. First time I've seen him do that this season.
And Sholayak will jump with anybody. He ain't afraid. Hutchison. Date again. Now we're back over into this corner. Sean Henry goes behind the back into bodies, forcing contact.
I mean, you look at Deshaun, free throw line and in, he's virtually unstoppable. Just either he's attacking the rim and finishing with a dunk or a nice touch around the rim, or he's getting fouled and going to the line.
What's wrong?
33-14, Notre Dame Hounds.
Thank you.
Sean Henry at the line, shooting two. Henry gets them both. Oh, full court press here from the Hounds. Ooh, risky pass, but ended up threading a needle to Novicic. Now back up top. Jimmy Omino setting up the offense. Already 8 on the shot clock. Damjanovic. Sorry, Roknic.
I like what I'm seeing from Milan. I like his aggression, and I think his team needs him to be a guy to carry the offensive load in addition to Branko. And then I also love what I'm seeing from Notre Dame. I think so far from the action that I've seen, they are the highest in charge taking as a collective. Guys really taking pride defensively, and the bench always lets their teammates hear it. That's for Notre Dame. Tough shot there. Here's Deshaun Henry, gives it up to Shaw Layak. Back to Henry, tries for three. That one he gets to go. That's his first of the game and of the weekend. There's definitely a little couple tweaks that need to be made down low with that jump shot, but up top it looks good, and that almost looked good for Shaw Ayak. Near one hand. Oop.
Sasha Kovacs checks in for the first time today for SJK, St. John's Kilmarnock, out of Breslau, Ontario. Almino working that rock, running off the screen. That is a large screen set by Alex Novicic.
Novicic with the easy deuce.
Deshaun says, hey, I'll take it. I already hit one. I'd like to see him follow that shot, though. And there it
himself
is.
A bit too much
Ooh.
there. Good D.
Nice block, DeAndre Fortis. And he goes end to end trying to finish with the left, but he gets it right back. Right place, right time.
Who's the new guy? Number 8 for SJK.
DeAndre Fortis. Oh, Deshaun, nice spin to the baseline, but can't finish through contact. A 20-point lead here for Notre Dame. And from downtown, Alex Odami out of Nairobi, Kenya. International flavor on our National Preparatory Association League, coast to coast across Canada. All kinds of countries represented throughout this prep league.
It's nice to see different guys stepping up for SJK. Guys, you know, I've watched them a couple times now. They didn't have a pulse previously, but finally beginning to contribute.
Henry pokes it away. Toes were on the sidelines. Landon Dickey checking in for Notre Dame. The first time we've seen him this week. Mayak tried to draw the charge. Refs weren't biting. Fofo. Dangerous. Luckily everyone's okay there. (40-21) for the Notre Dame Hounds out of Wilcox, Saskatchewan. Omino calling out a play, asking for the screen from the big man. Fofo just trying to fight through it. That's Coach Alosta like in the pick and roll. There's no one on the floor right now who's going to be able to match the height and width that Alex Novicic brings with him. They're going to try to do their best by bringing in Carter Kahinka, who definitely has some height. Now they have Kahinka and Landon Dickey on the floor at the same time. You add in Sholayak, and all of a sudden Notre Dame has a pretty tall squad out there.
I'd like to see SJK continue to feed the big fella, Novicic, get him going. I know I've seen him play before. He's got some footwork, but he typically likes to settle on the perimeter. He can shoot it. He's got a little bit of a stroke. but get something going on the inside to open up the floor for the rest of the guys. I don't see a real flow for them yet right now offensively. Kind of just getting garbage buckets, but interested to see what they run moving forward.
3:40 to go here in the first half. Kahenka from range. SJK comes out with it. 40s, coughs it up, gets it right back. Runs into a wall. Pull up. Don't know why he wasn't following that shot. You could tell it was off the minute it left his fingertips.
He was sidestepping.
Yeah. That's just something that you got to get your reps in practice, right? I mean, take the shot, follow the ball. It seems like so many people have fallen into the
walking away, Steph Curry, like they already made it.
Yeah. Which is fine if you're up 20 maybe, but not if you're down 19. It's 13 on the shot clock.
Still got a couple games today, and we're gonna get a debut here in Ottawa of Canada Top Flight Academy, the home team. Really intriguing team to watch. Obviously defending national champions, but a new looking team. They've lost some guys, they've added some guys.
Before that, we have Central Tech and LBA, which looking at the schedule coming into this one, that's the marquee matchup.
Really? That's definitely going to be a good one because LBA, you know, they're always well coached. They're both very well coached teams. And I think Central Tech is ahead of the curve right now in the season because of their veteran presence and leadership. Oh boy, there's Fofo.
Fofo says no, no, and gets the ball back on the other end. Nice cross-court pass. SJK just can't get their offense in gear. Still got some time left in this first half to try to figure it out.
I mean, guys aren't really playing with any substance. The spacing's off.
Ooh, that was probably a good foul to take as Sholayak is going to attack that rack.
It seems the guys are, SJK, they're kind of running into nothing. The spacing's off, and there's no right body language between each other.
That turnover really, it seemed like, you know, it's from practice where it's like, okay, the ball goes here, now the ball goes back up top. Oh, like that passing lane was closed. It was never open.
It's just going through the motions right now.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. Having said that, I mean, this is their, you know, they played Beast Prep earlier this year.
They picked up their first win there.
Yep.
1-1.
But this is their first competition against
upper echelon team. Yeah.
As you mentioned, like top
16.
5.
Yeah.
.152 to go.
For the next game coming up, Central Tech and LBA, I'm interested to see if Okai Jumgaz, 2020 prospect, will be playing the point guard position or the 2 or a little bit of both. Something to keep track of as we know he's developing into that role.
Timeout for the Hounds. Stay with us. We'll be back. Battle in the Capitol.
Rothsay Netherwood, better known as RNS, will enter its second season in the National Preparatory Association. Head coach Damian Gay will need leadership from his 4 seniors in order to continue to build on the program's solid foundation, which now has some added pieces to it. NCAA prospect Shaheem Malcolm made the move from Toronto to New Brunswick, and the lengthy guard is sure to make a splash in his new home. While Canadian national champion Kellen Tynes continues to earn high praise as the highest level prospect out of Canada's East Coast since fellow guard and Dartmouth native, Lindell Wigginton. Halifax Prep out of Nova Scotia is following in the footsteps of their maritime brethren, RNS, as they enter their first season in the NPA. They will be led by standout point guard Cairo Berry, who is expected to log heavy minutes as the engine of this team on both ends of the floor. Like any expansion team, growing pains are to be expected, but there is no better experience than being thrown into the NPA fire. The St. Laurent Express has a storied basketball history that they're looking at.
1:49 left here in the first half, a 20-point lead for the Notre Dame Hounds.
That's way too easy. No resistance there.
No. I think Coach Alsta will have some choice words for his team at halftime. I think the one thing that he was promising this season was a team that was going to compete, and right now his guys just really don't seem to have any juice. And I gave the teams yesterday the first time in town. Some of them just fresh out the van, give them some time to get their legs, and that could be an SJK thing right now. But I think you would expect the second half with a little more pep in their step. Man, these Hounds ain't giving him an inch, are they? Ooh. That's a bailout foul call right there with 1 on the shot clock.
There just doesn't look to be any fire, competitive fire there. Guys are getting beat with little resistance, as I mentioned, and they're not taking it personally. They're just, okay, they scored, we score. I haven't yet seen an elite defensive team yet from the games that we've watched. A lot of points have been scored, a lot of up and down game, which is cool if that's the style you're going to play offensively. But championship teams play D.
Damjanovic cleans up his own free throw miss. Yeah, I wouldn't say elite defense. I would say that both maritime teams really bring it defensively, yes. Right? And isn't that always the way? The teams with less talent bring the compete level that you want from the teams that rely on their talent. Mm-hmm. You can have them combine them both. That's what every
something ideal.
Yeah, that's what every scout and every basketball purist wants to see. And with a team like SJK, that's what they're building towards. It's still early in the season for everybody. As London Basketball Academy posts up in the corner of the gym. Isn't that a shot right there, sitting underneath the national championship banner that they had an opportunity to take home against CTA last year, but came up just short in an outstanding national championship tournament. Our host, Canada Top Flight Academy, the defending national champions in the high school age level. And then walking into the gym right now, Central Tech. It's Crestwood earlier today.
Got the two Toronto squads mixed up. Play pretty similar, scrappy bunch.
Similar color scheme. Central Tech just getting off the bus from downtown Toronto. Shot clock has to be reset to 20. Eight-second difference, shot clock, game clock, turnover, opportunity to hold for the final shot, Branko Damjanovic. I mean, if you're down 18, I think you just got to take your shot if you get it.
No question, they need everything they can get right now.
Oh, Damjanovic with a lot of one-on-one action there. The rest of his team just sitting around watching. We've reached halftime. 43-25. Notre Dame Hounds having an easy time of it thus far. Stay with us. We'll be back. Second half action. Battle in the Capitol.
I wanna fly, can you take me far away? Give me a star to reach for, tell me what it takes, and I'll go so high, my feet won't touch the ground. Just hitch my wings and pull the strings. I brought these dreams that all fall down.
The nice thing about him is he's a basketball player. There is no position defined for him. He's learning the skills. He's learning the skills of playing the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and the guard at all the positions.
The last thing what makes RJ Jr. so special is that he wants to be special. He's willing to do the work to become special. He's open to learning. He has his flaws like everyone else does, but he recognizes his flaws. He knows to keep working on them. And he's never satisfied even with his own strengths as a basketball player. So that's what makes him special.
Number 7, Barrett, Jr.
That's my boy. He never stopped seeking to amaze me. And when we were in the game, like, I could tell what he was gonna do. I was like, he's my boy. I'm gonna just let him, show out. So, but the chemistry's really good. We're roommates right now and everything. So.
I call him a professional scorer. That's definitely going to translate to the NBA game. He's relentless on getting around you and getting to the basket and getting to the foul line. And that's what I respect about him. I'm a huge fan of his.
That's all. Okay, showtime.
RJ making the splash takes his rightful throne at number 1, and I think regardless of class, he would have been there anyways. Maybe even number 1 in North America, let alone the Canadian rankings. Was the leading scorer in the most competitive league in the world at the amateur level. At 6'7", a guy that's playing 2 and 1, that's a deadly combination.
I think the first thing with RJ is he has goals, right? He has goals that he's set out, that he's driving for. So that's always great, right? Because all you ever really have to do is continue to focus him towards the goals he set. If you're trying to achieve the things that he is, I think that he's a hard worker, he's been a consistent worker, and oh, here he comes. Oh. Yes. Yeah.
Being number 1 in the world, there's no conversation about it, there's no discussion about it. But what's next for you? What are your goals?
Pretty simple, go to college and go to the NBA and be a star.
SJK out of Waterloo, Ontario will have some size on a roster that will take some time to come together. Milan Rauknic will be in a starring role for a team that will bring grit and toughness to every game that they play, while Alex Novicic has some great footwork and range to put on display with his 6'7" frame. Beast PrEP stands for Basketball Evolution Academic Specialized Training. Combo guard Matt Green will be running the show for the crew out of Hamilton, Ontario, and will be pushing the tempo for a squad that promises no easy games. The basketball culture in Hamilton is one that is often in the shadows of the basketball-loving fans in the city, but that will start to change with the new addition to the NPA. GTA Prep struggled in their debut season in the National Preparatory Association, but former professional head coach David Cooper has made sure that will not happen again. Joshua Houghton has the type of bounce that has fans sitting on the edge of their seat waiting for something special. But don't let the hops fool you into thinking he's a one-dimensional player. His combination of high IQ and explosive skill set allows him to make everyone around him better. That will mean great things to the standouts from last season, including DeAndre Pierre, who has never had a problem finishing at the rim.
Woo! DeAndre Pierre all over the rim!
Having two high-level players will take some of the pressure off of AJ Lawson, even though he thrives when the game is on the line. Lawson's length, explosiveness, and improved jump shot has college coaches knocking at his door, but they will be lining up behind the Oregon Ducks, who already have an offer on the table. GTA Prep is back in the NPA to not only take part, they are back to try to take over. The London Basketball Academy surprised everyone but themselves as they made a run through the first ever NPA National Championship tournament to earn a berth in the gold medal game where some returning players made a name for themselves.
Cummins, that is
No
not
way.
the guy.
No way.
Cummins, tie game.
Oh!
What's the foul?
Cummins got the answer!
Denzel Cummins has earned the title of a dead-eye shooter that shines on the big stage, while the wide-bodied and skilled Joshin Kumsa will be even more dangerous this season as he will slide to his natural position of power forward, while the addition of Okai Jamgoose will give this team a special look. Already on the radar for the Ivy League, this intelligent, high-character gym rat is a coach's dream. Armed with a skilled stroke, hard work in the offseason has helped Jamgoose move into the point guard role where his 6'4" frame will be a matchup disaster for LBA opponents. But the element of surprise is gone for this team as they go from the hunter to one of the hunted in the NPA's second season.
Keep the intensity high.
Get your feet square, get your feet square.
Take it home, write it down, grab a homie, and work on it. Work on it, master it.
AJ Lawson, go! He gets it to go! Wow!
Pick it up, Jalen.
Oh my God!
Top 10, top 10.
Two-way players are the best players. Understand that? Two-way players are the best players.
Ade Folarin, Ade again leading the way for his squad per usual. We were talking about him being able to play off the ball in the 2 spot and being able to get to the glass that way. About 14 points, 10 boards through just 20 minutes of game action.
Wow. How many assists?
1.
He's got 9 more to go. Working on that triple dub.
He's been knocking on the door. He's already had a couple this year and averaging, right around the 18, 9, and kind of 7 range has Fofo.
And that's the thing, his versatility will always serve as a benefit for any team.
Well, especially in the NPA, which, it's so, the NPA is so special to be able to get guys ready for the next level because we have so many different styles of game brought to you by all these different squads, and that's what you see in the NCAA as well, and obviously in CIS, or youth sports. Never get used to that.
We're gonna go with CIS. on these broadcasts. We're bringing the CIS back.
Meanwhile, it was Deshaun Henry. A little bit more well-rounded game. 14 points, 3 boards, 2 assists. There's Deshaun finding Avery Hutchison. Drop off. Deshaun Henry got smacked. Couldn't finish. We'll go to the line.
I know we got a lot of Saskatchewan basketball followers overall and on this live broadcast. You guys have something special out there with this program, with this team. This could be, you know, the best high school team, high school age team ever out of the province. You're looking at a couple Division I prospects, several next level guys, youth sport guys, and you know, most people think about Saskatchewan, they don't think basketball. Coach Huffman and the Hounds have been trying to change that for the last couple of years. I'm really, you know, I'm really looking forward to, you know, working with different people in the community to help build the Western Conference of this league. As we look at British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba, there's all this talent that looking for places, higher level places to play and compete on a national level. Technical difficulties here at the score table. We'll take a quick break as we get this sorted out. As we got a 45-27 ball game, 8:45 left in the third. Notre Dame Hounds lead.
Run, run, run.
NPH Scouting Service. The NPH Scouting Service is another platform for exposure with a network of over 300 coaches and scouts from some of the most recognizable brands and programs. Our scouts are constantly evaluating talent to ensure accuracy and credibility.
Doubt sets in. Why do you do it? Is it worth it? The lights turn on. All your questions are answered.
Everyone has their story. What's yours? Were you born with the ball in your hand?
Game action, the Hounds with a full court press. SJK trying to break it, threading the needle, making it work. There you go, Milan Roknic.
That last time out, Coach Alosta for SJK roasted Roknic, and I think he lit a fire under him because you saw him come out of that timeout with a lot more aggression. And there you hear Coach calling his name, trying to hold him accountable a little bit more. And he was out of place defensively, no question. Newkirk takes advantage.
Can tell you who this substitution is going to be for. No, here we go. Novicic in, or sorry, Novicic out. Odami in. SJK going small. Ooh, in and out. SJK just looking to get something going on the positive side of things. Ooh. Big time collision. Deshaun Henry stepping in, picking up the charge, doing a little bit of everything is Deshaun.
Talked about it earlier, Jay. Notre Dame is leading this event in charge taking, and it's not even close.
I think it goes back once again. This is a team that's hungry for competition against somebody that's not themselves in practice. They're ready to put it all on the line. Ooh, Henry saw that coming from a mile away. Ayak. Those are just the things sometimes you see from Scholl.
Too casual there.
Yeah.
Gotta value those possessions.
Get up, Jay. You're too far back.
And then you see Ayak do that, right? Gets back, gets his hand in the lane. So, you know, you see the two sides of Scholl Ayak.
It's a roller coaster.
Yeah. It's the same as a three-point shot from him, right? Sometimes we saw him airball 2 from the corner yesterday, and then he pull up, like stop on a dime, pull up from 4 feet behind, nothing but net. But, you know, when you get to the next level, when you're high-level high school ball is, you know, you're a coach. That just drives you nuts, right? All you want is you want to know what you're going to get from your player when you put him out there. Exactly.
Stability is too much to ask for a high school coach.
I think, yeah, for this age group, you're right.
Youth, exactly. Yep. Still figuring themselves out mentally, physically, skillfully.
Date again.
Nice attack. That's a great play right there by Fofo. He understood as soon as he attacked the heart of the D, they were going to react and open up an opportunity for his teammate. Racking up the assist now.
Ooh. I was just about to say that's really good defense by Jashawn. Call him for the foul. He's upset right now because, you know, that's what you're taught in practice, right? Move your feet, stop him with your body. But the ref called him for the foul, a little too much contact on the body.
Ooh, nice block there by Hutchison.
Sholayak steps in for the steal. It's going to go back SJK's way. But Ayak creating a little havoc, jumping into the passing lanes there. Just over 3 minutes gone in the third quarter. Two on the shot clock. No excuse for that one. The entire bench was calling down the shot clock for him. It's 49-29 for the Hounds. Don't quite have their offense clicking like they did yesterday when they put up over 100 points. But they have to be happy with their defense, holding this team to under 30 points, and we're almost reaching the midway point of the third quarter. We joked yesterday with Jashawn Henry actually at one point battling for a loose ball and picking up an opposing player as they both held on to the ball.
And I saw that scuffle.
Yeah, and the other thing, like the strength he uses for that one hard dribble down low, like the noise when that ball hits the floor.
It's violent.
Yeah, it's aggressive and like is what you ask for, right? Every move has a purpose. And you see it with so many players where that isn't the case. So when you do see it with a guy, it
doesn't take too many dribbles. Doesn't play around with it. Just usually when he gets to the rim, good things happen. Let's just say that.
Absolutely. Oh, Fofo stepping in for the steal. Off the backboard, Jashawn Henry. The Hounds just eating up SJK here in Ottawa, Ontario. You saw that developing from mid-court. Hutchison saw his boy, Jashawn, coming in for the stick-back jam. Almost put it on Fofo.
Watch the replay. He didn't care who was in his way. He knew that ball was going down the rim. Again, violent.
Hutchison decided, you know what, I'll take the missed field goal. Let's see my boy trailing me.
And we talked about elite defensive teams. If there's one team that we've seen so far that has a shot at getting that type of recognition, I would say it's the Hounds. And whether it's drawing 24-second shot clock violations or taking charges, they've done both of those things at the highest rate so far.
Holding their opponent to 29 points now, midway point, third quarter.
That's not a lot of points at all. And we talked about Branko Demjanovic averaging about 30 on his own, and he's been quiet, so it kind of all adds up. As he misses another one there from deep.
Ooh. Love when I see, you know, guys Fofo's height that have that build, and when they explode to the rim, like they really, it's like they glide.
The one that I got really a couple stars around on the schedule is Notre Dame versus Crestwood. We just saw Crestwood in the last game. Of course, we've seen Notre Dame a few times. Athletically and physically, they match up very well. And they both got depth. They both got, you know, Division I talent. And it's going to be a great measuring stick to see. You know, these are two, I would say, of the top 5. Although we have Crestwood ranked 7 coming in, you know, that's only because they're a new team to the league. But on paper, they could beat anyone in the country, in the league or outside the league, I think.
It's going to be a nice matchup between those two. That's what's so special about these 5 days in Ottawa. It's the only opportunity where we have 12 of our teams in one gym at one time. The Hounds having their way.
Henry battling there.
Yep. I love the way Fofo directs traffic. Just screams out home, home, and everybody reacts and gets to their spots.
If you look at all the boxes of when you check off of an elite level point guard, we think about communication and leadership, check. We think about the physicals and size for position, check. You know, passing ability, vision, check. I think the one thing that will take his game to that next level, his ball handling is average. I think it can go up several notches to be able to get to anywhere he wants on the floor. And once he does that, I think he's going to take his game to a whole new level. And he has definitely progressed in that regard over the last year, no question. As he lost weight as well, he brought his center of gravity lower, got a little bit more fluid with the ball in his hands. Whereas last year, he kind of looked more like a running back, like an NFL running back.
Yep. And his head coach, Adam Huffman, said what he's been most impressed with was the way Fofo has been able to read that second layer of defenses as well, which he's found impressive because that, you know, you can work on your physical ability as much as you want, but you need to be able to offensively read the defense, especially in a 24-second shot clock situation.
Shout out to everyone on our live broadcast tuning in. Make sure you follow us on our social media at North Pole Hoops and at NPA Canada for the latest news, updates, schedules, and results.
The Hounds have held SJK to 4 second-half points. We're 6 minutes into the third.
Nice look right there by Hutchison. I like his IQ, and speaking of Coach Huffman, he told me that the UBC Thunderbirds out in the Canada West Conference, their annual power out there, they've expressed interest in Hutchison. And that's definitely a good sign for him as we get to learn a little bit more about him throughout this week. We had Carleton University in, Ottawa University in yesterday. Ottawa was also in today. And we're looking at York. Eastern Florida has set up shop from yesterday and I don't think they've left that chair. Coach Tom Park's in the house. And as I mentioned, James Madison University made it in today. They'll be here for the next, today and tomorrow they'll be here.
Ooh, almost another steal there, Hutchison. Corner 3. That's big for SJK. Just need to get a little positivity going. Wint.
Oh,
nice.
Roll.
Yeah,
hey,
nice
English on that one.
Nice fake on the perimeter and drive. Finish with the left. Ooh. Almost into our living room over here. SJK starting to get some stuff going towards the rim now.
Yeah, you did a compliment. You did it right. Thank you. Wow. Hey, now stop the bleeding on this round.
I think I mentioned this yesterday. The back and forth between head coach Adam Huffman and his team is interesting to listen into. Right there, he was complimenting Dave Fuller and Date again about the way he moved his body on defense. Fofo stopped everything and said, "Did I just get a compliment?"
Yeah, they got a kind of tight-knit group. Everyone's comfortable with each other, and that's a huge, part of the formula for a championship team.
Well, I mean, we've seen every different style of coach that you can coming through this league. We've seen Coach Huff get into his players as well, but it's that good-natured ribbing that I think really speaks to a lot of these guys at this age, because he did finish the conversation with Fofo saying, okay, now get out there and stop this little run that they're on. That run being a 4-0 run.
Got to nip it in the butt.
(60-33), the Notre Dame Hounds looking to pick up their second win in 2 games in this Ottawa session. From downtown, Omar El Muragi hasn't seen a lot of floor time today, but right now Coach Alasta is using an opportunity to get some floor time for his guys, get some game action under their belt. It's all about progressing as the season goes on for this team.
Oh. Thread the needle there of the defense with the behind the back. There's definitely contact there, but no call.
These Hounds aren't going to take their foot off the gas anytime soon. SJK trying to get things going on the offensive end. Hutchison with the rebound. Fofo now bring the ball up court. Wint back up top. Ade Falarin. Ade again. Into the lane, loses it. Fofo had 14 and 10 at halftime. It's got to be knocking on the door of the 2020 game right now. Gets it down low. Can't finish. All kinds of contact down low. Refs keeping their whistles in their pocket. Two shots coming the way for SJK. 1:31 to go here in the third quarter. You got high-level high school basketball going on in the nation's capital right now. And we have our senior men's national team playing tomorrow night out in Halifax, taking on the Bahamas as the FIBA World Cup qualifying window officially gets underway. Coach Roy Rana, Dave Smart, Nate Mitchell, among others, all out there getting the teams together. Mike Meeks, who's been doing outstanding work. The junior academies, the
he's just on the scene.
Identification camps out west as well.
He did an ID camp out Western Canada. And constantly working with the bigs throughout the course of the year.
Like many of the coaches across Canada and with the national team and even with not, but Michael Meeks, a special individual.
It's going to be interesting to see what that team looks like. Haven't been together very long at all. But you have guys like Anthony Bennett on there. And then you have guys like Grandy Glaze on there. You know, the Scrub Brothers, Casey Keene.
Yeah.
Interesting group. I don't think many, I mean, some have played with each other. Brady Heslip, you know, I know he played with Phil Scrub previously in the national team program. I like the Grandy addition. He's a guy that, a lot of these guys that are on this team just get an opportunity to shine and make a mark and build their player stock, add some zeros to their contracts, hopefully, for them. And obviously, you know, represent the red and white. That's a huge opportunity from even a development standpoint, getting that coaching. And, you know, I completely expect Canada to win that. We don't have all the NBA guys. Obviously, they're in their season, but we got more than enough talent to get the job done. That being said, I have no idea what the Bahamas looks like.
Well, honestly, it's, you know, we've heard so much talk about these new competition windows, and you know, I've heard teams from in Europe complaining about not having NBA guys, and I've seen a lot of talk on the internet about, you know, how much this hurts Canada. I don't know, man. We have a pretty deep pool of talent, and I'm not even talking about wins and losses in these windows. I'm just talking about, like you said, the opportunity for these guys to play in the national program and an opportunity for them to become better as players, and that's only going to make our domestic leagues better. It's only going to make, you know, a team like the Raptors 905, who have 4 Canadians on it, it's only going to make those players better. I think this is all positive in the long run, even if in the short run. But I know what it's like. I know what it likes when it comes to Canada basketball. All we care about is wins and losses, getting back into the World Cup, getting back into the Olympics. And I know that's the end goal. But I mean, there's no way that anything's going to stop this trajectory that basketball in Canada is on. I don't care how many games we win or lose.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question. I mean, we haven't done well internationally. On the male side. The female side, we've done well. Up until the biggest victory ever in the program at any of the levels is a world championship with RJ Barrett and that crew, Abu Kigab. Now can we translate that on the senior level? I think everybody knows this game here in the Bahamas is somewhat of an exhibition, but we're here trying to ultimately qualify for the World Championship.
Hey, all the games count now, man. If they lose to the Bahamas,
experience.
No. Like if they lose to the Bahamas and they're down one, like that's a loss that counts towards their qualification. So what happens is you play these games, you play 2 more in February as a part of a home and home.
Yeah.
And then you get reseeded depending on that record. You get reseeded in a totally different group. So
right.
Technically, this right now could be the easiest group Canada has, right? So this is very, very important. But I'm just saying, in the grand scheme of things, you know, I think as a country, we have to accept the fact that things aren't going to happen overnight. Like you mentioned, the U19s was the biggest win. What was the biggest one before that? The under-17s. When was that? 2010. That was 6 years between. The U17s won the bronze medal, right?
Yes.
With Bennett and Pangos and all those guys. And it's going to be a slow progression. We'll talk more about this when we get back because we have a 24-point game right now.
Got lots of time to talk.
Plenty of time to chat. I'll wear Tarek out before we get Elias back on the broadcast.
That should be interesting. It's going to get, you guys don't want to leave nowhere. It's going to get very, very interesting.
Stay tuned,
Canada
folks.
basketball.
We'll be back.
Rothsay Netherwood, better known as RNS, will enter its second season in the National Preparatory Association. Head coach Damian Gay will need leadership from his 4 seniors in order to continue to build on the program's solid foundation, which now has some added pieces to it. NCAA prospect Shaheem Malcolm made the move from Toronto to New Brunswick, and the lengthy guard is sure to make a splash in his new home. While Canadian national champion Kellen Tynes continues to earn high praise as the highest level prospect out of Canada's East Coast since fellow guard and Dartmouth native Lindell Wigginton. Halifax Prep out of Nova Scotia is following in the footsteps of their maritime brethren RNS as they enter their first season in the NPA. They will be led by standout point guard Cairo Berry, who is expected to log heavy minutes as the engine of this team on both ends of the floor. Like any expansion team, growing pains are to be expected, but there is no better experience than being thrown into the NPA fire. The St. Laurent Express has a storied basketball history that they're looking to bring to the NPA. The next wave of Quebec talent includes Ben Datro, who can score in bunches from every spot of the floor and is always a threat to simply take over a game. While the man in the middle for St. Lo goes by the name of Trayvon Minot. Armed with the hard work mentality needed to clean up the mess in the paint, Minot also has the skill and soft touch to get buckets on his own. The Express boasts...
We're back live. You haven't missed a thing. Deshaun Henry, no good. Fofo knocking on the door of 20 and 20. It's been all over the glass. Looks like he might have
sprained his ankle, though. Hopefully he's just minor, because he's hobbling around right now after the big board.
Like we were saying, we're talking about the senior men's national team and, you know, the new FIBA competition windows, and, you know, rightfully so. I understand people can be upset about the change, especially the fact that it affects Canada, because, you know, we finally have NBA level players that can play on this team. But the reason why FIBA did it, even though it financially is tough for these different organizations, because I mean they have to now travel 3 times a year to play 1 game in another country. But the reason why FIBA did it was an opportunity to grow the domestic leagues and to be able to have more players involved. Yeah. Canada, another rolled ankle right there, and Canada was already, in talking to Rowan Barrett Sr., they were already on that trajectory starting back in 2010, right? When Maurizio Gherardini was heavily involved. Their whole plan all along was to be able to build an entire structure here in Canada, because we'd seen consistently in Europe the reason why, and in Central America and everywhere else, the biggest issue is their domestic leagues. They had players who could play against each other and with each other more often. Meanwhile, we could only bring together a group of 12 guys to play every once in a while. And that's the problem with having NBA guys on your team, right? Like, those guys, you have to ask those guys to commit 3 weeks out of the summer to come together and play together. And to be honest, it's great that we have all these guys in the NBA. It's really hard to get them to commit for 3 weeks out of the summer.
Right.
Tristan Thompson's playing in the NBA Finals every year, and then you ask him to, and Tristan, you know, that guy bleeds red and white, and you're asking him to come 3 weeks out of the year?
Well, I mean, you're never going to have all the NBA guys commit in one given year. But like you said, there is enough depth that we don't necessarily need that. We need, we do need would need a pillar like a Tristan and like Corey Joseph in the past, and they have come up and stepped up for the country. And you know what? With the World Cup, they've definitely made a conscious effort to, one, get more players engaged, but I think it's also to build the game globally. That's, they're giving opportunities for each country to host an event in there. And then I do have a source, overseas that told me that they're actually trying to build it so that the FIBA World Cup becomes the relative to the Olympics. They're trying to make the FIBA World Cup almost a bigger sort of spectacle than the Olympics, is what I heard. So with this strategy, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, and I get it. And in the end, as Dave Falar and a date again, as we're chatting away, is having himself.
Yeah, every time we chat a little bit, we got Fofo in the background doing work.
Doing his thing. Fofo, when you go back and listen to the tape, sorry, man. We just had to get some basketball conversation going on the sidelines of this 34-point advantage that the Hounds have. But again, and then the other what's exciting to me about Canada basketball and basketball in Canada too is, as we had mentioned, like the age groups as well. I mean, next year we get to host the under-18 championship.
That's huge.
Here in St. Catharines. Yep. Like, that's massive. What kind of story would have that been for Abu Kajab if he was just a little bit younger to be able to play?
No, I said this a year ago with Abu. If he continues on the trajectory that he's on and goes to the NBA, what that does for that region, no different than what Jamal Murray did for Kitchener. These kids now believe that they can make it from anywhere. And that's where, the NPA, it truly is about, kind of erasing the stigma that there's only talent in Toronto. And that's the stigma that lives within our country and outside our country. When people think about Canadian basketball.
Ooh, Deshaun Henry, I think, had some feelings of putting a poster on a wall right there. And I think the other thing outside of, and not outside of, it's inclusive of building in Canada, what's exciting to me too is like in Abu Kajab, what that does for the Sudanese community in St. Catharines. I went down and
across the country. I mean, there's Sudanese, there's pockets of Sudanese population. But Calgary, Windsor.
But to me, it's like when I went down and saw Abu in St. Catharines to film a feature that I put out. I mean, the community just there. When I was coming down to have a chat with them, they just kind of gathered around just to welcome me in type thing because they know how special Abu is. But then, Lugens Dort as well, coming out of North Montreal and the Haitian community there, and how much that would mean to them as he continues on, and everywhere, we're going to see next with Central Tech. Right? Yep. We have another, I know we have Christian David at Butler, but we have another Filipino Canadian who's an absolute star in the Filipino community. And that's what's exciting to me because,
I love that.
Canada is about all these different ethnic backgrounds, and not only are we building Canada basketball, we're also building out, an identity. Like, we're creating an identity through these different communities that we have across Canada, and basketball is what's going to connect it all through. We can say all we want. We can talk all we want about hockey, and it's great to say, oh, we're watching Hockey Night in Canada no matter what your background is, and it's like, yeah, but people don't feel connected to that game because they can't play it. It's too expensive. It's on ice. This, you just pick up a ball, you can go out and play. It's -2 out in Ottawa right now. You can go outside and still play basketball right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. And I just think that to me, it's not so much about hockey versus basketball. I more always look at it and say hockey and basketball. Like, there's enough room for both sports.
But there isn't enough room if hockey's pushed down people's throats. Because that's what it is.
That's exactly.
You see that.
Yes.
Hockey is pushed down people's throats.
Yes. And there obviously is a ton of hockey people all over the country, but you can't. It's becoming undeniable with basketball, and I think the missing component to all of it, to kind of bring it all together and really you know, because the basketball community is one thing, and then you have the mainstream community. But when we produce on the international level, at the highest level, at the senior level, that's the end game.
Oh,
Fofo, you know,
he tried to interrupt you. He tried to interrupt you.
I think he jinxed him on that one. But you know.
No, and I hear you, and I'm not trying to say, you know, basketball is going to take over hockey. I just find that, you know, as part of Canadiana, hockey has really pushed down people's throats in this country when it comes to mainstream media as well. You know, and that's why it's important for what the MPA is doing. That's what, you know, that's why I feel it's important, you know, doing something independently like I can with Next from the North, trying to continue up next. Just being able to tell the stories so that
people can connect with.
Yeah, and the only thing that people see in the mainstream media is hockey, 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 hockey. And I feel more than anything when in the mainstream media too, I feel like a lot of the time, honestly, it's like people hooking their wagons to what's hot, right? Like you see Andrew Wiggins, first overall pick, Anthony Bennett, first overall pick, and everybody jumps on. Everybody wants to either do a story on them or...
Which is fantastic. Come on, jump on board. It's a great thing.
But then those...
I know where you're going.
Yeah, but then those same people, the minute... You know, like what about the guy who isn't the first overall pick? What about the guy who could have used that kind of, that showcase and that spotlight to be able to get to that next level and needed that little bit of support? But we wait, you know, a good friend of mine, Tim McAuliffe, always says, like, why do we have to wait till somewhere else something becomes hot? Like, why does Drake have to become big in the U.S. before he ever hits off?
Why can't we support that when you see something special happening?
Yep. Ooh.
Oh, nice little move there. Fofo behind the back.
Something special happening right here.
Wants Momo. Fofo wants Momo. Mike Dotto. Shout out Mike Dotto, video production manager. I know he loved that joke.
Shout out Turkey.
Shout out to Turkey. They're coming up right now too.
Shout out FaceTime.
On the basketball scene. I don't know. There must be some inside jokes happening right now on this broadcast.
Hey,
that's what happens.
We're 3 games into 5,
That's what happens when it's 79-42 with 3:17 left. Huffman's saying something. We don't know what he's saying. We can't hear
Huffman's
nothing.
checking score.
Okay. He's getting a score check.
Shout out the scorekeepers as well, putting in work. To put on a tournament like this, you need a lot of volunteers. Tony House has been putting this together, and he still has a game to get ready for tonight.
Man, Tony House is good people. You gotta tip your hat to a guy like that. He does so much for these kids and so much for the Ottawa basketball community. A guy he's a veteran in the game, an OG that's been doing this thing for a very long time. And we talk about hockey in Ottawa and in Montreal, like you talk about pushing it down people's throats. That's all they talk about here. So to have a guy like Tony pushing the game forward and trying to innovate and evolve. Love to see that, and kudos to Tony House of Canada Top Flight Academy, the defending MPA national champs.
The Hounds keeping the foot on the gas. Ooh, in transition. A little English on that as we reach the 2-minute mark left in the 4th quarter. From downtown, Jimmy Omino out of Guelph, Ontario. That's a little pocket in Ontario that really supports everything grassroots. I know in my involvement with the CBL last year, the Wellington Basketball Club was...
Shout out to Wellington.
Shout out the County of Wellington. Fully supportive of their team out there. They packed that brand new gym at the University of Guelph. There was some very special Sunday afternoons there. And they just support anything that can be family entertainment. You know, any sport that they can go out and bring the family out and have an afternoon. And I mean, that's special, and that's really what's pushed hockey, or kept hockey where it's been, right? Is all these small pockets. And when I see that happening with basketball, it's special to me. And you know, bringing it back here to Saskatchewan with Wilcox here. I mean, I've told you a million times, like some of the most special basketball environments I've ever called a game in were in the middle of Saskatchewan, in the middle of the prairies.
Well, they appreciate it. You know, small markets appreciate it more. There's a thirst, there's a hunger for entertainment, for high-level sports. And those are the markets you wanna show that support back to, and that's where we're traveling across the country, and we're seeing, you know, Halifax, and we're seeing Rothsay, Netherwood, and all these cities. It's like the love is real, and they appreciate, you know, any opportunity. So they're that much hungrier when it comes to how they compete and how they just approach that opportunity.
How about this Notre Dame team, man? They're almost doubling up SJK, and they are still fighting all the way to the end on both ends of the floor.
You gotta love it.
You know, and like just got called for a foul. Greg went upset at the foul call. And this team is hungry to compete. This is not going to go away this year, and I know you've heard it before. Elias has this team as his favorite to win the national championship. And I mean, to see them where they are right now, so early in the season.
Did he say that on the live broadcast?
Multiple times.
Oh, wow. That's all I heard. He made a trip over to Saskatchewan for the MPH Showcase circuit in the summer. That's all I heard when he came back home. Notre Dame's going to win the national championship. Notre Dame's going to win. I'm calling it right now. All right. Call it.
Hey, and he asked me who I thought, and I called a total of 2 games this season. Or sorry, 1 game, 2 teams this season. Way too early to tell.
Ooh, he put you on the spot and you didn't deliver? You didn't give him an answer?
Absolutely not.
Wow.
You gotta have an educated decision. You gotta have an educated decision. What kind of basketball commentator would I be just pulling a name out of a hat? I mean, I watched Crestwood today.
You know what? That's a very valid statement, what you just said.
Like, Crestwood today was incredibly impressive. I just told you, like, you know, they pull off a 6'4" and a 6'5" guy, and they replace him with a 6'4" and 6'5" guy. Like, how do you compete against that, especially in the tournaments that we have? Like, they run deep. And Central Tech rolls into the gym right now. And I mean, they have returning seniors. They add a player like Matthew Daves. You know, they have every position. They play with a battle, like, especially in the tournaments that we have in the national championships. Notre Dame team is great. They run into a Central Tech squad who can shut them down defensively, and boom, you're done.
I mean, they're definitely. I was about to make a statement.
Okay.
And then as I kept listening to you talk about the different teams, I'm just gonna wait.
Oh, and sorry, Tarek. Who's showing up here tomorrow?
Who's that?
Saint Laurent.
Oh, Saint Laurent.
I mean, that's a team that I'm making sure that I'm around to call that game, because that's a team that I want to see.
They're the most, as you kind of mentioned in one of the video pieces. They're one of the most mysterious teams. We don't know.
Respect the Q.
We do know. Respect the Q. We do know.
Respect the Q.
We do know they got the big fella Trayvon Minot and Ben Datro at the point guard spot. But how will they compete in this environment?
That's why I want to see, and that's why you should tune in tomorrow for that game, and you should also stay tuned right now. We got Central Tech taking on LBA. LBA were in the championship game last year, and they've added Okai Jamgoose to the squad.
If you are listening to this live broadcast, yes, I'm talking to you. You stick around. 15 minutes, we will be back. Jump on live broadcast. Central Tech, London Basketball Academy, Game Speaks.
Make it 10 minutes.
Sold.